What if I told you that the secret to outsmarting your fears and achieving success lies not in some modern self-help gimmick, but in an ancient philosophy that has been used by emperors, soldiers, and thinkers for over 2,000 years? A philosophy so powerful it doesn't just help you manage fear, it crushes it. This isn't about positive affirmations or wishful thinking. It's about taking control of what you can and letting go of everything else. It's called Stoicism. Today, we're diving deep into this timeless mindset. We'll explore how Stoicism strips away the noise of life, the distractions, the insecurities, the endless chasing, and focuses your energy on what truly matters: action, discipline, and mastery over yourself. By the end of this video, you'll understand why men like Marcus Aurelius, who ruled one of the largest empires in history while grappling with personal tragedy, relied on these principles to stay grounded. You'll see how Stoic tools can rewire your brain to stop fearing failure and start embracing challenges as opportunities. And most importantly, you'll learn practical ways to apply these techniques in your own life right now. But here's the catch. This isn't about coddling yourself or pretending everything is fine when it's not. No. This is about confronting reality head-on, accepting it fully, and then moving forward with purpose. Are you ready to take responsibility for your mind, your decisions, and ultimately your destiny? If so, stick around because we're about to uncover a blueprint for mental toughness that will change the way you think forever. Let me ask you something. How much of your day do you spend worrying about things outside of your control? The opinions of others, the outcome of events, the uncertainty of tomorrow? What if I told you that all those worries are nothing more than wasted energy? That's where we begin understanding what you can control and ruthlessly cutting out the rest. Let's get started. Imagine standing on the edge of a cliff, staring into the vast unknown below. Your heart races, your palms sweat, and every fiber of your being screams at you to turn back. Fear is gripping you, whispering lies about how you're not strong enough, not smart enough, not ready. Now ask yourself this: what if that fear wasn't your enemy? What if it was simply a signal, a reminder that you're stepping outside your comfort zone and onto the path where growth happens? This is the essence of Stoicism, a philosophy designed to help you confront fear, uncertainty, and pain without letting them control you. Born in ancient Greece and later adopted by Roman leaders, Stoicism isn't just some dusty old idea reserved for scholars or history buffs. It's a practical operating system for life, one that teaches you to focus only on what you can control while releasing the rest. Think about it. How much of your stress comes from things completely beyond your power? Traffic jams, other people's opinions, natural disasters, market crashes. All these are external forces you can't change no matter how hard you try. Yet we waste hours obsessing over them, draining our energy and clouding our judgment. The Stoics understood something profound about human nature. They realized that suffering doesn't come from the events themselves, but from our reactions to them. Let me give you an example. Imagine two people lose their jobs unexpectedly. One spirals into despair, blaming the world, feeling like a victim. The other takes a deep breath, acknowledges the setback, and starts planning his next move. Same event, different outcomes. Why? Because the second person chose to respond with clarity and purpose instead of wallowing in emotion. That choice, my friend, is the cornerstone of Stoic thinking. At its core, Stoicism trains you to become the master of your own mind. It equips you with tools to reframe adversity, silence self-doubt, and channel your energy toward meaningful action. But don't mistake this for passivity. Stoics aren't weaklings who sit around meditating all day. Far from it. Many were warriors, statesmen, and philosophers who faced immense challenges, yet remained unshaken. Take Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who wrote down his thoughts in a private journal now known as Meditations. He didn't have the luxury of retreating to a quiet cabin in the woods. He ruled during plagues, wars, and political turmoil, yet he stayed calm and focused because he knew chaos was inevitable and irrelevant if he controlled his response. So why does this matter today? Because modern life is a breeding ground for anxiety and overwhelm. Social media floods us with comparisons, news cycles bombard us with negativity, and societal pressures push us to chase validation. We've become slaves to emotions we don't even realize we're feeding. Stoicism cuts through this noise. It reminds us that true power comes from within, not from external approval or fleeting pleasures. As we move forward, I want you to keep one thing in mind. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions or pretending you're invincible. It's about understanding which emotions serve you and which ones hold you back. It's about training yourself to act with intention rather than reacting out of fear or impulse. In the next section, we'll break down exactly how Stoicism works and why it's such a game changer for anyone looking to rise above their limitations. Let's get one thing straight. Fear is not your enemy. In fact, fear is a natural part of being human. It's wired into us as a survival mechanism, a primal response to danger that once helped our ancestors outrun predators and avoid threats. But here's the problem. In today's world, fear doesn't just show up when there's an actual lion chasing you. It shows up when you think about failure, rejection, or uncertainty. And unlike a lion, these fears don't have sharp teeth or claws, but they can be just as paralyzing if you let them take control. So how do you outsmart fear? The Stoics had a simple yet profound answer. Separate what you can control from what you cannot. Everything in life falls into one of these two categories. You can control your thoughts, your actions, and your reactions. That's it. Everything else, the weather, the economy, other people's opinions, is completely outside your power. Sounds easy in theory, right? But living by this principle requires discipline, awareness, and constant practice. To make this clearer, let me share a story. There was a famous Stoic named Epictetus who started his life as a slave. He lived under brutal conditions with no freedom and little hope for a better future. Yet even in such dire circumstances, he found peace and purpose. How? By realizing that while he couldn't control his external situation, he could control his mind. He famously said something along the lines of, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Epictetus didn't waste time wishing for a different life. Instead, he focused on mastering the only thing he truly owned, his perspective. Now think about your own life. How often do you dwell on things that are beyond your control? Do you stress over whether someone likes you or obsess about making the perfect impression? These are distractions, plain and simple. They pull your attention away from what actually matters: your effort, your integrity, your ability to handle whatever comes your way. The Stoics would tell you to stop feeding those distractions and redirect your energy toward action. Here's a metaphor to drive this home. Picture your mind as a garden. Every thought you entertain is like planting a seed. If you constantly water seeds of doubt, fear, and negativity, that's what will grow. But if you plant seeds of focus, resilience, and gratitude, your mental garden will flourish. The Stoics understood this concept deeply. They practiced something called premeditation of adversity, where they would intentionally visualize worst-case scenarios. Why? Because when you prepare for the storm, it loses its power to destroy you. This brings us to another key idea: detachment. No, I'm not talking about becoming emotionless or robotic. Detachment simply means letting go of attachment to outcomes. For example, say you're preparing for a big presentation at work. Instead of obsessing over whether your boss will love it or hate it, focus on delivering your best performance. Pour your energy into preparation, clarity, and confidence. If you do that, the outcome becomes irrelevant because you've already done everything within your power. But here's the catch. This mindset shift isn't easy. It goes against everything modern society teaches us. We're conditioned to chase results, crave validation, and tie our self-worth to external achievements. Breaking free from that programming takes work. It requires rewiring your brain to value process over outcome, effort over reward. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. In the following section, we'll dive deeper into specific Stoic exercises and techniques that have stood the test of time. These aren't just abstract ideas, they're practical tools you can use to transform the way you think and act. Ready to uncover them? Now that we've laid the foundation, let's go deeper. The Stoics didn't just preach abstract ideas, they lived them. They developed specific techniques to train their minds and strengthen their resilience. These practices were designed to strip away illusions, confront harsh truths, and build unshakable mental fortitude. What makes these tools so powerful is their simplicity. You don't need a degree in philosophy or hours of meditation to apply them. All you need is the willingness to challenge yourself and embrace discomfort. One of the most famous Stoic exercises is called voluntary discomfort. This involves deliberately putting yourself in situations that test your patience, endurance, or comfort zone. Why would anyone do this? Because it teaches you that hardship isn't something to fear. It's something you can handle. For example, Seneca, a Roman statesman and philosopher, would occasionally fast for a day or sleep on the floor. He wasn't doing this to punish himself, but to remind his body and mind that he could survive without luxury. In today's terms, this might mean taking a cold shower, skipping a meal, or leaving your phone at home for a few hours. The goal is to prove to yourself that you're stronger than you think, and that discomfort is temporary. Another technique is negative visualization. While it might sound pessimistic, it's actually a powerful way to prepare for life's challenges. The idea is simple. Imagine the worst-case scenario and sit with it. If you're nervous about losing your job, visualize exactly what that would look like. How would you feel? What steps would you take to rebuild? By confronting these fears in advance, you rob them of their power. When you've already thought through the worst outcome, it no longer feels catastrophic. Instead, it becomes manageable, even predictable. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that everything he cherished, his wealth, his health, even his loved ones, could be taken away at any moment. This wasn't meant to make him depressed, but to help him appreciate what he had while staying prepared for loss. Here's where things get interesting. The Stoics also emphasized the importance of focusing on the present moment. They understood that worrying about the future or dwelling on the past only drains your energy. Instead, they advocated for living fully in the here and now. A great illustration of this comes from a practice known as the view from above. Close your eyes and imagine floating high above the earth, looking down at the world below. From this perspective, your problems seem small, almost insignificant. It's a reminder that much of what we stress over doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. This exercise helps you zoom out, gain clarity, and refocus on what truly counts. But perhaps the most transformative Stoic principle is the concept of amor fati, which means love of fate. This doesn't mean passively accepting bad luck or injustice. It means embracing everything that happens to you, good or bad, as an opportunity for growth. Instead of resisting setbacks, you welcome them as teachers. Let's say you fail at something important. Rather than seeing it as a defeat, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me better? This mindset flips adversity on its head. Suddenly, obstacles become stepping stones, and failures become lessons. Now you might be wondering, how does all of this actually work in real life? Great question. The beauty of Stoicism lies in its practicality. It's not about memorizing philosophical quotes or sitting in silence for hours. It's about integrating these principles into your daily routine. For instance, start each day by asking yourself, what challenges might I face today, and how will I respond? End the day by reflecting on what went well and what could have been handled better. Over time, these small habits compound, shaping your thoughts and actions in profound ways. Still, there's one more layer to explore: the application. Knowing these concepts is one thing, but putting them into practice is another. In the next section, we'll break down actionable steps you can take to implement Stoic wisdom in your own life. We'll talk about how to overcome common roadblocks. Stay consistent and measure your progress. All right, let's get to the part where theory meets action. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy to admire from afar. It's a tool set you can use every single day to take control of your life. So how do you actually apply these ancient principles in the modern world? Let's break it down step by step. First, start with a morning ritual. Before you even check your phone or dive into the chaos of the day, take 5 minutes to ground yourself. Ask yourself 2 simple questions. What challenges might I face today? And how will I respond to them? This exercise does two things. It prepares you mentally for whatever comes your way, and it shifts your focus from worrying about outcomes to planning your actions. For example, if you're heading into a tough meeting, instead of obsessing over whether people will agree with you, think through how you'll communicate your points clearly and confidently. By doing this, you're training yourself to stay proactive rather than reactive. Next, practice journaling. This is one of the most powerful tools in the Stoic arsenal. At the end of each day, write down 3 things: what went well, what didn't go as planned, and what you learned. This process forces you to reflect on your behavior and decisions, helping you identify patterns that either hold you back or propel you forward. Marcus Aurelius famously journaled his thoughts, and those writings became meditations, one of the greatest philosophical works of all time. You don't need to aim for greatness, just aim for consistency. Over time, this habit will sharpen your self-awareness and help you course-correct when needed. Now let's talk about voluntary discomfort. This doesn't mean you have to sleep on a rock or fast for days unless you want to. Start small. Take a cold shower once a week. Skip dessert after dinner. Leave your phone at home during a walk. These tiny acts of discipline remind you that you're capable of enduring discomfort without falling apart. They also build resilience, which is crucial when bigger challenges arise. The more you practice leaning into discomfort, the less intimidating fear becomes. Eventually, you'll realize that most of the things you dread aren't as bad as they seem. Another practical technique is reframing obstacles. When something goes wrong, a missed deadline, a cancelled plan, a harsh comment, pause and ask yourself, what's the opportunity here? Maybe the missed deadline gives you a chance to improve your time management. The cancelled plan frees up time for something else. The harsh comment highlights an area where you can grow. By shifting your perspective, you transform setbacks into stepping stones. Remember, it's not what happens to you that defines you, it's how you respond. Here's a little-known fact. The Stoics believed in the power of community. While much of their practice was personal, they also emphasized the importance of surrounding yourself with people who challenge and inspire you. Seek out mentors, friends, or colleagues who embody the traits you admire. Engage in conversations that push you to think deeper and act bolder. Accountability matters. When you share your goals with others, you're more likely to follow through. And when you see someone else handling adversity with grace, it reminds you that you can do the same. Finally, be patient with yourself. Building a Stoic mindset takes time. There will be days when fear creeps back in, when old habits resurface, or when you feel like giving up. That's normal. Progress isn't linear. What matters is that you keep showing up, keep practicing, and keep refining your approach. If you fall off track, don't beat yourself up. Simply acknowledge it, learn from it, and move forward. These steps might sound simple, but don't underestimate their power. When applied consistently, they create a feedback loop of growth and self-mastery. You'll find yourself becoming more focused, more resilient, and more confident in your ability to handle whatever life throws at you. And the best part? You don't need any special tools, resources, or circumstances to get started. All you need is the willingness to try. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've uncovered. Stoicism isn't just an ancient philosophy. It's a blueprint for modern living. It teaches us to stop wasting energy on things we can't control and focus instead on mastering ourselves. It shows us how to face fear head-on, reframe adversity as opportunity, and build resilience in the face of uncertainty. And most importantly, it reminds us that true power lies not in external circumstances, but in our ability to choose how we respond. Think about it. What would your life look like if you stopped letting fear dictate your decisions? If every setback became a lesson, every challenge an invitation to grow stronger? What could you achieve if you committed to taking action, no matter how uncomfortable or uncertain the path might seem? The answers to these questions aren't theoretical. They're within your reach, waiting for you to claim them. But here's the real question: are you willing to do the work? Because Stoicism isn't about shortcuts or quick fixes. It's about discipline, consistency, and embracing discomfort. It's about showing up every day, even when it's hard, and choosing to act with purpose rather than reacting out of emotion. The tools are simple, but their impact is profound if you're willing to put them into practice. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the very obstacles that seem to block your path are actually the means to overcoming them. This idea flips the script on how we view challenges. Instead of seeing them as barriers, see them as opportunities to prove your strength, ingenuity, and resolve. Before we part ways, I want to leave you with one final thought. Life is unpredictable. No matter how much we plan or prepare, there will always be variables outside our control. But here's the beauty of Stoicism. It doesn't ask you to change the world. It asks you to change yourself. And when you do, you'll find that the world around you begins to shift as well. So now I turn it back to you. What's one small step you can take today to start applying these principles? Maybe it's journaling your thoughts, practicing voluntary discomfort, or simply pausing before reacting to a stressful situation. Whatever it is, commit to it. Start small, stay consistent, and watch how the ripple effects transform your mindset and your life. If this resonated with you, drop a comment below. Share your thoughts, your struggles, or your wins. Let's build a community of people striving to live with intention, courage, and clarity. And if you're hungry for more insights like this, hit subscribe and join me on this journey of self-mastery. Together we'll uncover the timeless wisdom that helps us rise above fear and achieve success, not just in the eyes of others, but in the quiet confidence of knowing we did our best. Until next time, remember, the only thing standing between you and greatness is the decision to act. Now go out there and make it happen.